Good day, everyone. Confidence is a fantastic, powerful, eventful uh, thing. I can call it a living thing when it exudes from a person who has the right and who has the ability to be confident. There is a big difference when a person brings quote unquote confidence when it's only arrogance. And for a lot of times, and when people do bring arrogance, you will discover a lot of time they also bring incompetence. They are the ones who's going to screw things up. They are the ones who causes little ripple effects of problems in the environment. You can find them in meetings, in office buildings. They're the ones who can tout big from a small trumpet. They can't bring it. And the thing is about like a musician that has to tune his instrument, their instrument is consistently out of tune. And I'm talking about people who don't have the true facts, the factors within them to be truly confident. Confidence in the right person is an amazing thing. And you ever heard the term bringing it? Whether you find a person, a waitress, for instance, in a restaurant, a cook in a diner or a restaurant, that when they have a certain flair about them, they can bring it. When they cook, whatever they do, there's a certain level of precision and a certain level of awesomeness and not awkwardness about them. You take the dynamic factor of a waitress who can look so busy and yet no one really, people don't notice them. Only the ones who really have the it factor can notice a good waitress when she has confidence. And it's not confidence is only being a waitress, but she has confidence, period. She can operate everything with such precision. And the term where we say multitask, her brain is so wired with so much electricity compared to a person who can't and shouldn't even say they're confident. I've discovered, and I'm still discovering this, that the people who don't have the factors, the facts, it's like a fiction, a book that is a fiction or a book that is a fact, right? Their storyline, the very story going on inside of them, is that they were lying to themselves all through their life. They were able to cut corners. They were able to avoid the full on measure of discipline. And discipline in any respect, when it's consistent, it will always have a high degree of principles. Disciplined A disciplined person is a principled person, and they don't abandon their principles very easy. And because of this, they can exude the confidence that they do, because on a magnanimous level, some people would call it the universe, I will say God Almighty, they've attached themselves to attributes of God's nature, and they cannot but experience the results of that nature, which is confidence, because it's in a consistent state of good energy. It's like a turbine going, or an electrical current that does not lose power. We got 120 volts consistently going, and there's no power outages with that person. People who don't have confidence, and they try to make you feel confident in them and what they can do. They sell what they don't have. And one of the things they like to do is that they will make you feel extremely uncomfortable one way or the other. And one thing I've discovered about people who don't really have a lot of confidence, especially, let's say they're good at something that they found something in their life. Like for instance, I don't know. Let's say for instance they can hit a hammer well during the day. They know how to do carpentry to a certain level, right? And so you come along and you're brimming with and by the way, people who don't have confidence, truly confidence, they can smell confidence off someone. They could smell the real thing. And should you ever ask them for a chance at an opportunity that they may have and you don't, right? So, because a lot of times we do require people who can open up doors for us. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to depend upon people who don't have the confidence, but they have a position. They found a place in life that are able to fool people well enough and stay at their job, like a union job, for instance. It's very hard to get rid of people who are in a union. And you come along and you say, I wouldn't mind applying at what you do. What they will do instead of saying, "Oh," normal people will say, "Oh, that'd be cool." Like this is how you apply, and yeah, I'll get a reference for you, and so on and so forth. People believe in you. This is what they will do. Confident people believe in other people. People who are not confident, who don't have the ability of confidence, true confidence inside, they cannot they cannot try to build you up because they're consistently trying to break people down. And they have a competitive way about them that if I found something I'm good at, and there's no way I'm going to let you come along and do it better than me. And that's the way how they see life. Anyone who would work, who would be helped by them, the first thought that will go through their head, and I've tested this, and it's proven, I've seen to be true, they would get very threatened very easy. And that how you'll know that? They'll turn around and say things like, well, the job does this and the job requires that. And I've had to get up certain times in the middle of the night and blah, blah, blah. And they don't for a second listen to themselves trying to convince you of all the negatives when you've already have so much confidence, you've bypassed so many negatives in your life because your confidence is so strong. You see, disciplined people uh, in anything that a person will do in their life, they can become a very good, a quick expert at it, especially at the confidence, because they have the right type of application. It's not just on a resume, but they have the right characteristics inside of them to learn and to be efficient very quickly. Anytime anybody tries to discourage you from something that they haven't seen you actually do it, they haven't seen you get good at it, they haven't seen you giving it the old fashioned try, they're they are to be treated of somebody who's rather incompetent, inadequate, and what they're really doing, they're projecting their struggles when they first started at something that they know you're probably going to be better at than they will. You know, the world today, in a lot of ways, honors, and I should say honor, but it seems to have much more of a open, open door policy for people who are less competent and disabled and people who are kind of stupid. It really gets you quite a bit in your life. It really does, because I've worked in office environments where I've seen so many, and I ask so many people that should have never been hired. But the thing is, what makes people get hired is because the person doing the interviewing a lot of times is so incompetent themselves that they would rather hire somebody beneath them than hire somebody who could bring it. Because somewhere behind the back of their mind, and this is the truth, people in so many ways are very afraid in their life, afraid that somebody is going to come along and do it better than them. And then they become yesterday's newspapers. And all these things uh, uh, are problems inside of them that they're now working through. True confident people have worked through things because they embrace change. They embrace a deep level of honesty. And by the way, when you will learn more at anything that is given to you in life, when you're deeply honest that you don't know it, but you are sure going to. The people who show up in anything and say, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, I know, oh, yeah, I know, they're the ones that are always going to be an incompetent, and they're gonna bring that into the environment. And it's really hard for people who are efficient. And you know what ends up happening? The ones who are very incompetent, who don't have the confidence, usually will end up in some way, shape, or form. This is what they're good at. They're able to offload what they can't do onto people who can. And it ends up becoming a strange, how did this happen? How did a confident person end up becoming manipulated to own something that is not theirs to have? And incompetent people who don't have confidence, a lot of time they thrive. They thrive very well in life because they do know how to play the game very well of exploitation. Nevertheless, what makes a competent person and a confident person so more well off is that you can cut that person down and they're going to grow back very quickly. You cut down an incompetent a person whose confidence that they think they have should be brought into question. You cut them down and it'll take a long time before they can even spout because there's nothing there. And the beat will go on. They will find themselves in another situation where they're able to sell poor me and they get away with it. But I just want to encourage you today and say, man, if you know that you can bring it and you have confidence and you guaranteed one thing, you're also going to have a whole lot of character. And you keep brimming and you keep going along because then eventually, you find yourself in the place of high level of inspiration. People are going to pay you handsomely well because they know, not that they think you have it, they're going to know you have it. And that's the big difference between the ones who have confidence and the ones who think they do. People know people who have confidence. People who don't have the right confidence and shouldn't, there always will be brought into question. Have a good day. Do like, do subscribe. Thank you.